winning the heavyweight title from Ezra Charles immediately after the post-war era. But perhaps that is really the exception that proves the rule. Joe Frazier tonight and Muhammad Ali coming up, of course, next week. Both bucking terrible odds and comeback attempts. Round number 7 underway. Frazier lands the first shot. Cummings lands the next one. There was a glancing left hook. Not a completely solid punch, but solid enough. And Frazier obviously knows what he wants. He does not want a decision. He wants a knockout. Possibly some puffiness underneath the left eye of Joe Frazier, but it's difficult to tell. Still pawing greatly at each other. And Joe leaps in with another left hook. And that seemed to drive Jumbo Cummings back a bit. When they get in the clinches, it's now gone to more or less half and half in terms of advantage. At long range, though, Joe Frazier's looked pretty good. Certainly reflexes are not a problem. Endurance will have to be at age 37. Ring experience, no question about that. Joe Frazier by a mile, assuming he hasn't forgotten anything. But Frazier on the stalk now. The man looks like he meant it when he said he could take this heavyweight division apart. Few doubt that Joe Frazier could have done it in his prime. And now it's slug and slug back again. Rights and rights, back and forth. And there went the Frazier left hook in again. He doesn't seem to have the wild abandon of the left hook that we recall that knocked down Muhammad Ali in the 15th round of their first fight. But still a formidable punch. And there, 3 quick shots from Jumbo Cummings, and that didn't do Joe Frazier a bit of good either. Fighting in flurries now a great deal. Right hand from Frazier that is blocked. And once again, may I have this dance? Joe still likes to paw away at the opposing fighter's jab. I remember how many times he did that against Muhammad Ali in their 3 fights, batting that jab away. Cummings back to the tactic that worked in the beginning, belting him in the stomach. But the hand behind the neck is a no. That's not allowed. 30 seconds are left in round number 7. 10-rounder. Joe Frazier doesn't look ready for Larry Holmes yet, but he has certainly been more than ready for one Jumbo Cummings tonight. There was a tremendous left hook. Now that one had to be felt. A tremendous left hook from Joe Frazier, flush on the chin. And the jabs, he means it, folks. And Joe is happy in his corner. Jumbo sort of strolls back to his stool.
8th round. This will be a round 8.
3 rounds are left, 7 done. If it should go to a decision, at this stage it would have to go to Joe Frazier, I think, who's come back from being back behind in the early going. One still finds it difficult to believe that these 2 bangers could possibly go that route. Of Joe Frazier's 32 victories, by far the vast majority, somewhere in the late 20s probably, were knockouts. 12 of Jumbo Cummings' 17 victories have been knockouts. Giving instructions to Jumbo Cummings in his corner. Meanwhile, back in Joe Frazier's corner, the mood seems a little bit more exultant, or at least expectant, than it was earlier. Son Marvis, himself an undefeated heavyweight prospect. Round 8 now gets underway. Marvis watches Dad go out and land another one of those jabs. And Joe's been throwing the big leather. Jumbo really hasn't thrown a devastating punch in quite a while. The left hook missed again from Frazier. The Jumbo's been throwing a lot of good, solid punches in combinations. That Joe hasn't done a great deal tonight. But Joe never was much of a combination puncher anyway. Joe was the big punch. And he's thrown some of them tonight. Round 8. A good right uppercut from Cummings. That was a solid one. Cummings is backing Frazier up now with some good body punches and shots to the head. Frazier fighting back with a good left hook to the jaw that temporarily stopped that press into the ropes. It was certainly the best flurry by Jumbo Cummings in 2 or 3 rounds. Frazier with another good jab, not as crisp as his earlier, but a solid jab nonetheless. Now they're trading the body blows, and that's one place where Joe's not going to win. Frazier pinned to the ropes, not his accustomed position in fights. For years he pinned him into the ropes. That hand behind the head is going to cost Jumbo Cummings some points. Another good right uppercut, followed up by some other punches, and those are landing. And Jumbo Cummings is all over Joe Frazier. Frazier is leaning on and holding on. And Cummings senses this could be it. He's right over us, pummeling Joe Frazier. Frazier pushed back into the ropes, taking a lot of body shots, trying to fight back, but taking the worst of it. Maybe the endurance factor has finally entered in. Cummings has Frazier pinioned to the ropes, leaning on him. And finally they break out. Headlocks don't count, Jumbo. Blood coming out of Joe Frazier's mouth. He used to bleed from the mouth a good deal in the alley fights. He doesn't cut around the eyes much. He lumps and pulps a lot, but 30 seconds left now in round number 8. Jumbo Cummings has come back strongly in this round. A series of punches that blew Joe Frazier into the ropes. And that's where Joe finds himself once again right now. He was looking good in the middle round, landing the big left hook. 8 rounds are down, and now they go to work on that cut-up mouth of Joe Frazier. Son Marvis. Got to be